All right, ladies, I want to give you some tips on how to make your life easier, and this is for young women. I'm a 60-year-old mother of three and grandmother, and I would like to share with you some tips that could make your life easier that I don't think that people are talking enough about today. If you make the kind of man that you're attracted to and what your education are two big things. Let's start with education. It's very helpful as much as you can in middle school to start taking math courses. Don't let anyone tell you women aren't good at math. It's a myth. I do think that men in general tend to be better at math, but it doesn't mean that women aren't good at math and we can't learn it. I myself got my bachelor's in computer science, and in hindsight, it was because my mother always made me take math. So in junior high school, I was taking algebra and trigonometry. In high school, I took pre-calc, geometry, trigonometry, 5 semesters of algebra and pre-calc by the time I got out of high school. Whereas my friend, whose parents weren't making her do that, she had only taken the basic math course and she took yearbook as an elective. And I don't know whatever happened to her career-wise. So keep taking math, even if it's hard. And keep taking literature and science courses that make you think. And also, if you're into art, nurture the arts. I think school today has gotten way too much into trying to make things easy, and you have to challenge your mind. So stay away from the TV, stay away from the social media, and focus on your education, your hobbies, some outdoor activities, some family time. And I personally am not a fan of kids competing in sports that much. I think it robs them of a lot of free time. And this push that parents have, these helicopter parents to make their kids succeed by being like, on all these travel teams. If you want that, fine, but don't expect that you're going to make it into the All-Stars necessarily. Anyway, this is just my opinion because I saw that, when my kids were going through high school. Anyway, your education, middle school and high school. Number 2, when you get to college, be careful about the degrees you get and how much money these degrees cost. If, for example, you want to be a teacher, you're going to earn maybe $50,000 a year and work long hours with summers off, and your degree costs $150,000, your life will be hard because you'll be in a lot of debt. It takes a long time to pay off. So think about, would I enjoy being an accountant or an engineer? How many years of college do I need, and how much money will I make? That's something people need to think about. Someone likes to be an economist, they're going to probably have to get a PhD. That's a lot of schooling, a lot of investment. So I think a lot of people go to college thinking college is all they need, and they get a degree for which they make only like $20 an hour. That brings me to point number 3. If you don't go to college or trade school and you just start working, think of if you have a career path somehow, because people that are making low income, your life is just harder. It's harder to pay for your health care and your healthy foods and your housing and your children. Like, life is just harder. Above a certain amount, I don't think that life gets any easier, more enjoyable. However, low income people have that additional stress of money. So prepare for your future. Don't think it'll just magically work out, okay? Have a plan. Number 3, if you want to have children and get married, I would recommend not waiting too long, because men who want to be fathers and have a family, they're usually married by 30. And if you're like one of these women, a lot of women now are encouraged to just pursue their careers. Okay, they're encouraged to pursue their careers at the expense of having a family. They're told, like, you don't need a man, you can work, provide for yourself. And they pursue that and they try to become a partner or a tenured professor at the university. And that takes a lot of hours. I know a lot of women admire Camille Vasquez, Johnny Depp's lawyer. She's fabulous. I think she's 36. I don't think she's ever been married. And I don't know if she'll ever have children because those careers are not, we're women, okay? Like you can't be a mom and work 100 hours a week, okay? And to be partner in a law firm, you've got to work those really 80, 90, 100 week hours. So if you want to have children, just think about what kind of career you want, when you want to start. Men who want to have children usually are married by 30, not always, but they generally are because they're relational. They like relationships. There's certain men that like relationships, and that's the kind of man that I'm going to recommend that you look for. I'll get into that in a minute. If the women who wait until 30, Jordan Peterson talks about this because he has worked with a lot of high-powered lawyers. And at 30, they suddenly start feeling, oh my God, I want to be a mother. And now they have to find a man. And if they're looking for a man a few years older, a man in his early to mid 30s, man, there aren't that many of them left because the ones that like families are married. So the pickings are pretty small, and it's highly likely that there aren't any good guys left in their mid 30s. And the ones who are, they're single because they're emotionally avoidant. They don't want intimacy. They don't want to get married. So this is a big thing that women have, we're kind of told the lie that they can be like a man and work like a man and have sex like a man. Which brings me to the last point, which is don't have sex like a man because you're not a man. You are the nourisher of life and the bringer of life. I'm not religious. I'm just talking here as a mom and as a grandma, as a former sex worker, as a life coach. I am just talking here as a woman in touch with my sensuality and my body. And we not only have our monthly periods, which are crampy and messy, despite all the tampons and the leaking, and the mood swings with the hormones. We also have 9 months of pregnancy, 6 to 12 months of nursing, and while we have little babies, we're pretty much helpless unless we, hire it out to some nanny, which to me is wrong, abandoning a child like that. We're designed to nurture our children, and our children need us. Children need an emotionally present, calm, steady, happy caretaker. And in order to make that happen, it's so important that we pick good men because we can get pregnant and therefore we shouldn't be fucking like a man. To the extent that women's lives get difficult, it's because they're either poor or they pick bad men who hurt them emotionally or leave them with children. There are so many single mother households, and to me that's a shame because a woman didn't have to be a single mother. Unless her husband died, there is no reason for her to be a single mother. If she's a single mother, it shows me she made a poor choice in her selection of men and the kind of men she's attracted to. It's not your fault because you're attracted to men based on how much intimacy you can handle, what you saw growing up, and it's not your fault. But here's this video where I'm teaching you what to look out for. Okay, so if you want an easier life, find out what keeps you from being attracted to good men, and good men being someone who is relational, who likes relationships and marriage and family life. That's a good man. He is reliable, he's calm, and he has whatever qualities you want, but for sure someone who's reliable, who works, who has a job, who wants a family, who cares about you, who is kind to you, who doesn't have drinking problems or womanizing. He doesn't try to control you. He's not volatile. He doesn't run off. He's not a prisoner. He's not a belligerent. Like, he's nice. If you don't know what nice is, I'm going to recommend that you watch a show like The Waltons, or there's a YouTube couple that makes videos about public health and biology and so on. Brett Weinstein and Heather Haying, the Dark Horse podcast. They have been married over 25 years, PhD biologists. I think they have 2 teenage sons, their parents. And if you just watch them interact on their show, you can see what healthy relating looks like. They listen to each other, they playfully interact, they genuinely like each other. There's no contempt, there's no interrupting. See, someone who cares about you is going to listen to you, not interrupt you, not shut you down. They're going to be playful, they're going to be caring, and I'm very impressed with how these two interact. So that, and The Waltons is just a movie. What I'm trying to get you to see is that women whose lives are difficult fail to either get a healthy education, or maybe they did and failed to see healthy relating, and they are attracted to men who are unavailable, who are either married. That's another thing. Don't go after any guy in a relationship. If you're attracted to men in relationships, alcoholics and so on, your life is going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And you can fix this. And the way to fix it is to figure out first of all, is to realize that your attraction meter is off because of your childhood. Okay? So you might want to research about different childhoods, trauma, inner child healing, about attachment. So to the extent that women are attracted to men who are not good fathers or not relational, it will make your life harder, especially if you have children, you have to raise them alone. We as women are responsible for how the children turn out because we select the men. See, a man can't fuck you unless you let him. So the only way we can improve our society is for women to be attracted to these healthy type of men. And men will meet your standards. Men are not going to push you for sex if they want a relationship. If you feel like, oh my God, I have to have sex with these guys or they won't date me, you have inner work to do. A man looking for a wife is not going to push you for sex. He doesn't want to blow it. Believe me, I work with men. If they're looking for a wife, they're not going to push you for sex. If they're pushing you for sex and you feel pushed on, it's an inquiry into yourself. Why is he pressuring me? Why don't I want to? You're allowed to have boundaries, and the way to keep yourself safe is to have healthy boundaries and be kind, because these high quality men don't like these bossy feminine, these bossy bitch babe women. A good man, like that's a good provider, is not going to like a bossy bitch babe woman. And that's not good for the kids. We have to get ourselves to, being kind and having good boundaries and being in touch with our feelings and communicating them. So look for men who want to be fathers, that take good care of their dogs, that like children. Probably get married by your mid to late 30s. I'm just giving you some elderly mom tips here. And when it comes to hooking up, just kind of question what you're getting out of it, because I think women have been told a lie that we can work like men and fuck like men. We have a different physiology. And because we are the nurturers of life, we are responsible for all the sperm we let inside of us. So one way to reduce the abortion rate is to only have sex with men that we would actually want to have be the father of our children. And use a lot of birth control, because it just breaks my heart when I see women that have like hard lives because they're single moms and it's their picker was wrong. But you can change your picker. You can change your picker so that you're attracted to healthy men. So if you watch the Waltons and Brett Weinstein and Heather Heying and you feel they're boring or unattractive, there's your inner work to do. Why do you find healthy love boring? What if you could find that attractive? Because to the extent that you're attracted to these men that leave you or can't keep a job or alcoholic or narcissistic or controlling or whatever, your life will be difficult. It's going to be difficult. If you're low income, it will be difficult. So I'm just giving you some tips here. I hope this was helpful. Please leave your comments, leave your other tips on what else women can do, tips for young women on how to make your life easier. To summarize, education, because no one can take that from you, and make sure that you're attracted to good men that actually care about you. That's it. Those are my 2 big tips. And thank you so much for watching my video.